This is Optimal Startup Daily, episode 176. You're not a businessman, but you're a businessman, by TK Coleman of tkcoleman.com. And I'm Dan. I am your host and narrator here on Optimal Startup Daily. This is where I read to you from some of the best blogs on entrepreneurship. For now, let's get to today's post as we optimize your life.
You're not a businessman, but you're a businessman, by TK Coleman of tkcoleman.com. Quote, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Jay-Z. There remain too many people among us who do not see themselves as being involved in business. I'm not talking about stay-at-home parents or volunteer workers. I'm talking about the millions of people who go to work every day with an underlying sense that they are just an employee. They say, my boss is a business person, but not me. I'm just a worker. There are some who even feel proud of this mentality. They imagine themselves to be above the petty and superficial concerns of business if they don't spend lots of time thinking about money. I don't really think about business. I just don't focus on that kind of stuff. I show up, I do what I'm told, I mind my own business, I don't make any trouble. Unless you're an independently wealthy person who doesn't engage in any kind of labor for hire, you're in the business of selling something to customers. You may not be inclined to think of yourself in this way, but it's true. If you receive a regular paycheck, however small, that's not an act of charity. You're getting paid as a reward for the perceived value you're creating. You're not getting paid just because you got dressed in the morning and showed up to work. You had to do some very specific tasks to earn that paycheck. And those specific tasks are the services you're in the business of offering. You may not be very impressed with the work you're doing, but the work you're doing makes enough of an impression to warrant a paycheck. Let's say your job is to clean up the office every day. Well, you get paid because you're in the business of helping your customers maintain an orderly and organized environment. Yes, that's right. Your employer is your customer. They pay you for a service you provide. That's what customers do. I know that's not the way we're conditioned to think about our jobs. We tend to look at our employer as the person who has the power to fire us if we're late to work or if we fail to pay attention to important details. But that's something that self-employees and entrepreneurs have to deal with as well. In business, you get fired every time a customer chooses to stop doing business with you. And just like some of the bosses we've all worked for, customers can seem unfair or unreasonable at times too. We're all servants to our customers. None of us can get paid unless we do a good job of satisfying our customers. Everyone has a boss, and it's the customer. That's not some sort of special condition that applies to people at the bottom of a hierarchy. That's the heart and soul of what it means to do business. If you get paid, you have a customer. If you have a customer, you have a boss. The idea that you have to be free to call all the shots before you can be a business person is simply not true. If you're not accountable to the needs and wants of someone else, you're not doing business at all. You might have a business card, but you're not doing business until you're dedicating time and energy to making someone else feel satisfied with your work. I hear people say things like, I don't have a product or service that I offer, so I'm not a business. I get where they're coming from, but it's an attitude that significantly undersells the value and truth of what they do. When you look at yourself as some sort of slave to the man, or as a powerless errand boy or errand girl whose professional life is dictated by some great overlord you call boss, you unnecessarily deprive yourself of the psychological and professional advantages that come with marketing your skills and experiences as they truly are. Whether you get paid as much money as you'd like or not, whether you own the building where you go to work or not, whether you answer to a supervisor or not, whether you have filed paperwork for an LLC or not, whether you're proud of your job title or not, whether you own a business in the textbook sense of the word or not, you are a personal brand, and you are in the business of satisfying customers with whatever skills you bring to the table. Some people respond to this kind of message by saying, I'm more than just a brand. And you are. You are infinitely more than a brand. But you're not less than a brand. You are at least a brand. And if you're going to be a brand, it might behoove you to start describing your professional services with respect, pride, attention to detail, and a sense of enthusiasm. No one can love, appreciate, respect, or get excited about what you do for a living if you don't even think the value you bring is worth more than mumbling a few words about some building you have to go to. You may not be a businessman, but you're a businessman. You might as well have some dignity about it. You just listened to the post titled, You're Not a Businessman, but You're a Businessman, by TK Coleman of tkcoleman.com.
And I'll tell you about TK in just a sec, but first, thank you to Uber for Business. Trying to find a way to stand out to your customers or make your employees feel extra valued? Over 160,000 companies use Uber for Business to improve customer and employee satisfaction. Any company can sign up for free and immediately start delivering extra value to the people who matter most to their business. Having a hard time getting people to show up or stay engaged in virtual team meetings or events? With vouchers from Uber for Business, you can add $20 to their personal Uber accounts so they can easily order meals through Uber Eats before the meeting. And for customers, you can give them a voucher for a free meal or ride when they make their first purchase or spend a certain amount. Vouchers are simple to send and to redeem. Try it out. It's a great way to show your customers and employees that you care. Right now, Uber for Business is offering companies a $50 voucher credit when you spend your first $200 with vouchers. Go to uber.com/OSD to learn more. That's uber.com/OSD for a $50 voucher credit. uber.com/OSD. Terms and conditions apply. And thanks to TK, who is the Education Director at Praxis, a college alternative that builds your skills and your network, and you don't pay until you're hired. TK runs the apprenticeship program and places people at startups, helps them develop real-world skills, and shows them how to create value in the marketplace. He's also the host of not one but two podcasts. Office Hours is a show that's sort of like the Geek Squad for creative challenges. Listeners bring questions and problems to TK and Isaac Morehouse, and they provide some feedback and solutions. His second podcast, Small Business Edge, tells stories about marketing, accounting, business, and life lessons from real small business entrepreneurs with decades of experience. So you can check these out and be sure to give his site a visit to learn more. That's tkcoleman.com. And I think that does it for today. Have yourself a very happy Thursday if you're listening in real time. And thanks as always for subscribing. So hope you enjoyed today's post from TK, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for the Friday show, where your optimal life awaits.